So, greetings and thank you for joining me today for this special 90-minute attunement to your highest vibration webinar. We are at a point in history where the species, the human race, is actually at a point where the entire planet is ascending into a higher vibrational state. It's evolving into what it's built to evolve into. And we have the greatest privilege to be alive at this time and be part of this, and actually literally partake in it and help create it. And we help change the collective vibrational level by changing our own individual vibrational level. And we'll talk about that lots more today. The way today is going to go, and you'll see me kind of looking here. That's because I really need to keep myself on track. We have a lot of information to go over, and it's going to be wonderful. What we're going to do first is I'm going to explain why I'm doing this webinar. And this isn't exactly the same as the other attunement webinars I've given. I've done 2 of these now. I'm going to go over some new material regarding this this huge planetary and, very honestly, galactic multiverse shift that we're going through, because it isn't just the humans on our planet going through this huge upgrade and evolution. Then, after doing a little bit of discussion about that, I will give an explanation of the attunements, and Paul Selig's guides have taught these attunements, and I think they're the most wonderful, wonderful thing, and you'll know why here in a couple of minutes. And I'll give the actual attunements to you, which you can repeat back or not. You don't have to. Then we'll unpack what's in those attunements, what they're actually doing and saying, and I'll give you some of my experiences with them. And then we'll go back and discuss in more depth and detail this planetary and galactic shift, what it means in terms of what we may see on the planet, what we may experience in our own bodies and our own lives, and have some insights as to what to look for and how to handle this, because it is a huge upgrade in quickening of our frequencies and vibration. And then we will do the attunements again, and then we'll have a question and answer portion. So, having said that, let's first, before we actually start anything, let's go ahead and set a common field of love and intention. This is where we all acknowledge to ourselves and to each other that we are here for the highest good, for our individual highest good, and there you go, to show up for the highest good of the species and the planet, that we will only take in that which is most beneficial and that which is most helpful to each and every one of us individually here. So everything that you take in is directly to your benefit. It is not an accident that you're here attending this and hearing me talk about it today. And it's not an accident that I'm talking about it. And that there is absolute benefit and love and safety. There is nothing to fear here. There's not even any such thing as dark energies, not the way people think. So we're in absolute love, benefit, safety, expansion, higher vibe already. I'd like to just say a couple of words about why I'm offering these attunements, and how this kind of came about. As most of you may know, at least that are attending here live, that I've been a lifetime student of Seth, of the Jane Roberts. Jane Roberts channeled Seth, a very advanced, energetic personality essence, who dictated through Jane Roberts about 10 books. Not only did I read all of them, but studied. I did more than read them. I lived with them. I studied them. I did the work. I did the exercises. I have spent my entire life going within. I'm a mystic. That's what I've done since I was a little kid. And I was very lucky that Seth was introduced to me when I was 15 years old. So I have that background, and I hold what I learned from Seth as an unimpeachable source. I have been exposed to a lot. I hear some of the greatest gurus and teachers on the planet saying things that I learned from Seth, saying things that I have learned and written down myself from my own going within. So I know Seth to be the unimpeachable source. And then having said that, I had recently, about a few months ago now, come across Paul Selig and his guides, and felt drawn to attend a little 2-hour Sunday webinar, and found that the guides teach what Seth teaches in some different words, some different terminology, but I know what it all is and what it means, so I have no translation problems. And I just found that their information is spot on. And you see, Seth said there will be other teachers. It's not just me. There will be others. So I happen to think that Paul Selig's guides are some of the other teachers that Seth said would show up. Their stuff is just top quality, first top drawer quality information. And what I love is doing all the work, all of those years, reading the books and doing the work. You do with the Seth books. Oh, your vibration raises. I think I do walk around most of the time, mostly in 5th dimension, little dips into the 3rd dimension, some dips into the 6th dimension, but mostly in the 5th dimension, where you're aware of your greater self, you're aware of everything as being you, not just intellectually, but you're actually aware of it. I've certainly perceived this as a past lifetime for me. I mean, I really achieved a lot doing the Seth work. And then having said that, it took me, and maybe someone else is already there or does it in heartbeat, but it took me decades, really. The guides, Paul Selig's guides, they also wrote about 10 different books to help people understand and get there. However, they have these attunements, which are words, sentences that are encoded with the intention, and very deliberate intention, to raise your vibration to a higher level, the highest level you can hold. So they're almost like a quick set, that one of those preset radio buttons, where when you want to activate that, and you want intentionally to activate this higher vibration in yourself, these attunements just help you get right there. And we'll say more about that. So that's why I'm offering them. I think they're so important, and they're because there is such a shift going on. This is the time everybody needs to get there as quickly as they can, without all the going around the mulberry bush, over the river, and through the woods for decades, as they can. So that's why I offer them for free, because the guides have said, and Paul Selig has said, and anybody is welcome to offer the attunements. They just ask that the attunements are offered at no charge. And I am thrilled to have the honor of doing that, and to be able to do that. So that's why this webinar is free. Yeah, so today particularly I made this a 90-minute webinar because, again, this is just a critical, literally a known critical time in human history, the history of the planet. There are astrological synchronicities, solar synchronicities, and I'll talk about them more. But astrological, solar, there's a 26,000-year cycle that is the axial rotation of our planet. Literally what the North Pole, which star the North Pole points to, changes every 26,000 years because of a planetary wobble in the axis. And we're at that point. And the planet actually revolves around the center of the Milky Way galaxy. And guess what? That rotation takes 26,000 years. And according to certain traditions, possibly Vedic tradition, I'm not sure, half of that 26,000 year period is descending away from source, and half of it, 12,000 years, is ascending towards source. And we have started the ascension portion. So there's lots of sort of synchronicities and congruencies as far as these things coming together. Both Paul Selig's guides really emphasize that we're at a point in our planet's history where we cannot go on the way we have been in adversarialness and separateness and the anger and the fear and the hate, and I have mine and too bad for you kind of thinking. So that's why they came forward with this stuff. Probably about 10 years ago they started. And Seth, in his books that were written back in the 70s, said that the human race is coming upon a time where they're going to ascend, that there's an evolution, and that there will be an extended planetary state of peace and love. So, and Seth talks about even raising vibration. He talks about you will not get rid of war by hating war. You don't get rid of something by fighting what you don't want. You bring in what you do want by attuning to it and being in it and feeling it and loving that. And he said, war will not stop until the young men on the planet start refusing to go to kill and go off to war. And he said, and that will only happen when we raise our vibration. So that is why we're doing this now. And again, it's a 90-minute, just because there has been so much on the internet about, there's the portal, the download of information, the upgrade to our systems, and we will talk more about that. But this is the time, and we're here for it. Yay, it's just so exciting. So as an introduction to the actual attunements, I want to reiterate that they are a set of sentences that are encoded, their language encoded with the intention to raise our vibration. They are built, they activate a remembrance. They're not giving us our holiness. They're not giving us our divinity. They're activating a remembrance of our true self. It's a restoration. They call it, they use the words reclamation, so that you come to your true self and no longer identify yourself, what they call the small self, the small ego self that's been walking around thinking that all it is this person, this personality with this history and this story, and there's all this loss and adversarialness and fear and burden and separation and competition, instead of cooperation and love. And so that's the small self, the small ego self. That personality is needed. It is the liaison for us to walk around in the physical. It's the liaison to the physical, but within that we have the ability to expand our consciousness to so much more awareness to what our true identity is. They talk about the attunements in terms of it's a choice, it's an agreement, each of us, to go into our highest nature. It's an agreement that we choose, we agree to go into vibration or into resonance with our highest vibrational versions possible. It's an invocation of change. It's important to know that you will never take on a higher vibration than you are ready to hold. So you don't need to worry that you're going to fry your circuits or anything like that. You will never take on more than you can hold. You will assimilate what you can assimilate and raise and hold that. And then as you use them and as you walk around and you can repeat them. I do almost every day. But you don't really have to. It's the intention. you will assimilate more and more. As you raise your vibration, you're able to hold more light, more love, more information, to where you're not as overwhelmed anymore. Like, if your world was, as you understood it, was this big, as you assimilate, it gets bigger and bigger, and that it's okay. That's comfortable. Yeah, I've got that. So you won't take on and assimilate more energy, more higher level of vibration than you can hold. They will reveal themselves. They will integrate and reveal themselves. I have found very much they educate you. No matter where you are in your evolution, no matter how high your vibration, they will bring you up to another level of understanding and awareness of yourself and your world. So they do assimilate, they do educate you, they do uplift you, they integrate, and they reveal themselves. And then, important to know, once you've accepted the attunement, once you've chosen to show up for this, they say it is ever so. It is always there for you. You can choose to let it lie dormant if you don't want to use it or continue, but it is always there for you. And so, and that's why I use that sort of preset radio station. You can always call it up and it'll be right there for you. And again, these are so wonderful because now is the time when the planet and the entire galaxy is uplifting in its vibration, in its awareness, its understanding, its sense of unity, of love, cooperation, of creativity, expansion, growth, appreciation, all of those harmony, all of those wonderful things. We get to show up as individuals and literally be part of it. Again, the humanity can't be shifted if its individual articulated aspects aren't uplifted. So just by uplifting ourselves, we create a stronger, greater field of higher frequency that makes it easier for other people to flip over and feel and raise up. So I think for now, that's enough explanation. Let's go ahead and do the attunements. I will give them, and I give them exactly as the guides give them. And again, if you don't have to repeat them if you don't want to, but you can listen in, and by repeating them, you're saying, yes, I'm here. I'm on board. I'm stepping up. Let me say this too. When you raise your vibration, even though this isn't specifically to, have a better life with a better condo and a bigger car, there's no part of your life that doesn't improve when your vibration raises, because you're in a state of love. You're not living from the fear and the doubt and the self criticism and all of those things that we do in the lower gritty 3D plane. Your entire life improves, and you improve the quality of the entire world. So if you would like to participate and repeat after me. I am word through my body. Word, I am word. I am word through my vibration. Word, I am word. I am word through my knowing of myself as word. Word, I am word. I know who I am in truth. I know what I am in truth. I know how I serve in truth. I am free. I am free. I am free. I am in the upper room. I am in the upper room. I have come. I have come. I have come. So let's stop there and unpack this a little bit. Word is the word of God, vibration. Everything is vibration and frequency. It's not just dead vibration and frequency. It is, I call it idea energy. It is the creative vibration of the source consciousness of all that is, as Seth calls it, the God consciousness, vibrating with creativity to express. And it is literally expressing through you and as you and me and Mary and Brittany and everybody on the planet and everything. Nothing is outside of the God consciousness. So word is the word of God, vibrating, creating. The guides use the words, word is the creator. It's the energy of the creator in action. So we aren't just a theoretical possibility. We are vibrated and created into being through the word of God. As I have done these, at first, just because the word for some reason was bothering me a little bit, I actually had to translate, I am aware universal consciousness expressing and experiencing its potentials. And I can kind of overlay both. So I'm always saying word, I am word, but that aware universal consciousness expressing and experiencing its potentials. That's what we all are. It's exactly what we are. So word, I am word. I am word in my vibration. That is your energetic field. So your body is God consciousness vibrating and appearing in the physical 3D realm to be picked up as physical, as a physical thing. Sort of, if this were a painting in 3D, you've got a 3D body to walk around your painting in and interact with it in a very direct way. So that's the body, that's the form. Word, I am word in my vibration. That is your energetic field. That is the energetic ideas that make Mary Mary and the other Mary Mary and not Cathy. Your field is different than my field. We are self-aware. We are self-identified. And your energetic field contains all of the ideas about yourself and the world that you hold to be true. So your energetic field, word, I am word in my energetic field, in my vibration. Word, I am word through my knowing of myself as word. You're literally identifying yourself as God consciousness expressing and experiencing itself. You're literally identifying yourself as that instead of the person who drives the beat up car down the dirt road or whatever. I know who I am in truth. There you go. I feel us all shifting. I know who I am in truth. I am the God consciousness expressing as Cathy, as David, as Quail. I know who I am in truth. I am so much bigger and multidimensional, more than this little personality that I've been defining myself as. I know what I am in truth. I am a very precious, important personality interacting in this 3D world that is learning to make choices responsibly and co-create a reality. I know how I serve in truth. It's very important. Sometimes people think we have to do a certain thing to justify our existence. Not true. Not true. Seth has said that very, very emphatically. And the guides say, this is not about what your job is. And it's not that you have to go do something. It's you expressing who and what you really are to the nth degree. Your truest authentic self, what your truest heart's desire is to be and do, that is how you serve. You serve just by existing. I used to hear the words as I was doing this, I know the value and purpose of my existence. And that's not just in the physical world though, guys, which, you know, you have every bit of value and purpose. It's to the universal whole. I had put out an email, little teeny, mini micro blog that said, if the universal consciousness is expressing all of its potentials, its potential expressions, which one can you leave out and say it's expressing all of them? None. You can't be left out. I can't be left out. Each one of us is infinitely important and precious. So I know how I serve in truth. What is true is always true. That is what the guides say, and that is what I learned from Seth. You are, and you know who you are. This is just a reclamation and a remembrance of who and what you truly are. It is a coming awake. I am free, I am free, I am free. I am free from the bonds and boundaries of physical law, because once you understand who and what you truly are, you start realizing it's not controlling and happening to you. You are co-creating it. So you literally free from the bounds of physical law, as Seth puts it. Free from fear, free from burdens, from feeling victimized. As the guides say, Paul Selig's guides, free from the tethers that bind you to this 3D gritty fear, separation, adversarial world. Free from those tethers. You're free to be your true self. Joyful, happy, creating, expressing, without all of that heavy 3D burden. I'm free. This is actually, as the guides say, as you raise your vibration, you keep raising upward and upward until you get to the Christ itself, the crystalline self, which is the highest level of vibration we can hold while holding being in human form. I have come, I have come, I have come. This is not, I, Susie, have come to the great self. This is, I am my true soul self, and I have come awake in my personality self that walks the earth. I've come awake in my whole self. So it's the big I has arrived and woken up and comes awake in our smaller ego self. There are a few quotes that I would like to read, mostly from Paul Selig's guides, a couple from a couple of other sources that I think would be good for you to hear. This is the guides. A world is not made new by attacking it, but by uplifting it, claiming it in the divine. And then they say, a world can be made new by your presence. And oh my gosh, that is so literally true, everybody. We affect the world with our presence so much that the way I do sessions has changed, and I've heard this from other readers and practitioners on internet, on YouTube, that now at the end of a session, I check to feel that the world feels different now that this individual person has shifted their vibe. That's how I know everything's different too, because the world is different, because somebody in it has changed. The guides say, in generations, you will be remembered as present for a time of great change and an acceleration of field that will make the world anew. And they go on, the fabric of reality, as you have comprehended it, can and will be reknown, because what stands before you all in such a time of change is the gift of change, the new, and the release of the old, the passing of the old, that which cannot be held in the higher octave of alignment that you have now come to. And the guides speak in terms of not only true self, small ego, limited understanding of self, but they talk in terms of going into the higher octave of yourself as the frequency uplift. They call that the upper room when you are in the higher frequency state, which over and over again, you will see anywhere you look, especially nowadays, but as fifth dimension, where you have shifted into a light body, lighter, again, that love, that harmony, that true understanding, not just intellectual understanding, but true direct perception of we are everything and everything is us. There's absolute unity, cooperation, appreciation. It's just love instead of, again, that gritty, adversarial, burdensome, wet sandbags, 3D that we've thought we were limited to. We are at a point in history where what can be known and made new can be known and made new. We're there, you guys. And Seth has said, and I'm just going to have to, I'd never be able to put my hands on exactly where. Again, he has said that humanity is coming upon a time where a second coming, he was talking about Christ at the time, but the second coming isn't what people think. It's an opening up to the inner senses, all the empathetic, clairvoyant powers where we, not power over, where we are one, where when somebody's talking, we actually understand what they're getting at because we're not listening to them through a lens of our own fear and our own agendas and misunderstandings and limited beliefs. A time of, again, extended peace and harmony and cooperation, and where he said people, our bodies aren't built to hold more than one lifetime in our sort of the way our brains are right now, but that children will understand that they are not ever going to look down on someone else for their race or their religion or their whatever, because they're going to understand that they're that also and have been that at some point in their multidimensional self. So a time of great uplifting, and he predicted it. This was in the 70s. He said it was going to happen within 70 years. Here we are. And again, he made that comment about war will go away when we raise our vibration. So I did want to read this from Seth. You are so a part of the world that your slightest action contributes to your reality. Your encounters with others alters the fabric of their lives and the lives of those who come in contact with them. He says, on the one hand, each of my readers is but one individual alive on the planet at any given time. He puts quotes. It may seem that the individual has little power. On the other hand, each individual alive is a necessary one. It is true to say that the world begins and ends with each person. That is, each of your actions is so important, contributing to the experience of others whom you do not know, that each individual is like a center about which the world revolves. We are each creating our world, our universe. We're each creating it from our standpoint. And what happens is, this is why it's so important to create what we love and want versus harping on what hasn't been okay. Because as we create for ourselves what we love and want, Others who are on board with that vibrate with that, and you create a new version of the world. And literally, we're there now. We're there now. Let me give you a couple more quotes, and we'll talk about this huge galactic shift. The guides say, one who realizes himself in the upper room becomes an alchemist of sorts, because you claim, which means to hold or vibrate with, you accept as part of your reality. You claim all things in accord to that higher tone. Your reality will shift as well. Your experience of yourself and a world is drastically changed. And they say the vibration you hold is always in coherence with the reality you find yourselves. The field you hold is altered, aligned to a higher template. Your body goes into a new coherence. That is so important, because that is part of what we're going to be talking about now. We are literally going into a higher vibration. There are things showing up in the world around us as far as events. There are things going on in our own bodies and lives because of this shift to a higher vibration. Seth has said, when you shift into the higher vibration, you change at the molecular level. You change at the cellular level. Your nervous system has to realign. Your body system realigns. You actually, and Seth, this isn't Seth speaking now, you actually are able to hold more, a higher frequency, more light, more joy, more information. You can hold more stimulation without being overwhelmed. You integrate it. And as we go, if you come up with questions, thoughts, things, just jot them down, and we'll get to them at the question and answer portion. Let me just take a look here. I just want to make sure we're here on time. There's a lot to cover today. So you will hear this is being spoken of as the galactic age, because again, this upgrade isn't just to the species and our planet and everything on it, and it is to our species and everything on it and the planet itself. It's actually galaxy wide, and actually one set of council members, I'll go into that, said it's the multiverse. Everything is upgrading. You will hear the words dimensions and densities. It can be very overwhelming. Try not to get too often rabbit warrens. Densities and dimensions, the way they're spoken about by different people in different factions, really are kind of the same thing. Really, vibrational level, higher vibrational levels takes you, we're in the third dimension, very not only lower vibration, but where there is fear and anger and separation. It's very coarse. It has felt to me like wet sand. The fourth dimension is still pretty tied to the 3D world and what's going on into it, but it's not as completely physical. Like that realm, so to speak, is where you would find ghosts or spirits that are pretty attached and watching what's going on in the physical. It's still it's non-physical, but it's still very physical centric, so to speak, as far as the earth world. Fifth dimension is where you can still be in body, but also be in your light body and drop all the burden and fear and loss and worry about money and feeling of competition and having to beat someone else out to get what you need, that kind of thing. It's very much love, cooperation, abundance for everybody, abundance, and have what they need, and appreciation and cooperation. A world built on that, a society built on that. People living in that, there's more compassion and empathy, because you truly, very literally realize someone is a part of you, and they are some part of you, and they may be in a very limited understanding and may not agree with anything you understand to be true, but you can still hold compassion and forgiveness even to someone who has wronged you. In fact, when you get into that level, you start realizing, I really don't need to hold a grudge to someone who wronged me, because that wouldn't have happened if I didn't agree to it on some level. They couldn't wrong me unless I agreed for my own soul's evolution, or in accordance with what I held to be true. Okay, they wronged me, but ultimately they didn't do anything to me. I showed up for the experience as well. So I really don't go around blaming others. It's just not the strugglesome kind of place. You'll hear things like the first, second, and third waves of volunteers from people like Dolores Cannon. I don't doubt that that's all true. Where higher entities that aren't physical or haven't even maybe ever been physical sort of volunteer to come down and help us uplift the human species vibration. You can hear the word light workers, star seeds. It's kind of all talking pretty much. It's a left brain thing that wants to say, well, which one am I? And which one am I? You come from God. You don't come from a star. You come from the God consciousness. We are all multidimensional. We all have ascended master, star seed, possibly a soul that doesn't understand very much and is not being very nice to other souls. We're multidimensional. We exist in all the possibilities. Ultimately, we are the God. If you go far enough, we are the God consciousness. If you go far and deep enough into what we really are, so we hold it all. So there are people that I believe this, because I know I'm one of them, that this is the last lifetime. That it's and they're part of what's called the first wave of ascension. I mean, the first huge group of people that are old souls and have gotten to a point where they really are ready to leave the physical system after this lifetime. You'll hear terms mass awakening. It's the time of a portal. Well, it is, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more here too. That it's a gateway. We're getting downloads. Yes, we are. From there are, I hate to use the word extraterrestrial. It makes it sound like we're talking about spooky UFOs. We're not. There are angelic and archangelic and extraterrestrial, highly evolved consciousnesses that helped create the physical reality we participate in, and look over it and watch over it and love and care for it and us. And they are also holding space and holding light and love for us to ascend to. We're being helped with this, you guys. So you'll hear all those kinds of terms. I'll go ahead and bring this up. You'll hear the term New Earth. We're creating a new Earth, and also the split. And it's like, yeah, actually, that's correct. I perceived this when I was a teenager, just studying with Seth when I was about 17 or 18 years old. I realized this, that there comes a time when we ascend into that love and light and higher vibration so much that the world sort of splits, and those that just aren't there, I'm going to say yet, because eventually every soul eventually gets there, but we don't all go at the same time, the same earth time. There will be waves of ascension. So there's sort of a split where those of us who show up for it experience a world that has improved and things have become more empathetic and has become more peaceful. And those that are very sort of power, control, struggle, stir up the pot for hate and separation and adversarialness, they seem to fall away or go away. And things we're inhabiting a world that just is getting better and better. There are other people that may inhabit a world that sort of hate and strife and dog eat dog and at each other's throats and not caring about each other as much, they may go ahead and inhabit that version of the world for a while. The two are not contradictory. That's the nature of quantum physics probabilities. And Seth talks about probabilities all the time. You make a choice to go one way, the other way is still there. It's still available. You're just not tuned to it. You're not vibrating with it. So we are very much helping to create and showing up for the radio channel of the world that is that loving, harmonious, raised into more of the 5D. That doesn't, both the guides say this and Seth says this, that doesn't mean the world we inhabit will be perfect in every way and everybody will do everything the way we think they should. No, no, no. It won't be perfect in every way. There will still be some problems. There will still be some conflicts. Everybody may not do what we think they should do, but there will be this overarching and underlying peace and harmony and sanity and empathy and understanding, sane reactions to things. I personally, this is just my intuition, I feel like governments, not one world government, I'm not even going into politics, don't care, that governments start moving into more of a loving, what's good for everybody cooperation instead of everybody trying to take over the world over top of everybody else and win. How about everybody wins and does what's good for everybody on the planet? So no one is living without food and without water, or if they are, we're doing same things to help fix that. So that's just me. So everything is not necessarily going to be perfect in every way. It would just be so much more sane and loving and cooperative and handled with compassion and appreciation and cooperation and joy. That's the bottom line. I wanted to go over a couple of, I'm really trying to keep myself on track here. So we've gone over most of this. This is a choice. This is a choice. And you wouldn't even be here, as the guides have said, you've already built into this lifetime the ability to do this ascension, or you wouldn't even be here in their seminar or their webinar or with me talking about this. It's all, you've already just made it a decision for this lifetime that it's what you would probably like to do. There is no predestination. Nobody has to do anything. And there's also no, you hear people getting into predictions. This is what's going to happen. Nothing is set in stone. All choices are always available. So as the Arcturian Council, which are evidently, these are new to me and I love them, but they're the oldest, wisest, most loving, intelligent ETs that live in the 5th dimension and into the 6th dimension. They can have a physical body if they need it, but they also have their light bodies and they can come and go in their light bodies. But they said, they said what I say all the time. At any given time, there can be a quick left turn and you've changed everything. They literally use my words because I use those words in sessions. So don't get lost. Don't get too hung up in looking at every YouTube with predictions. You don't, and as they also say, you don't need other people's predictions. Go to your source within. Your source within knows what's going on. Trust the love. Trust your higher vibration. Let things be working out. When you set that, things will work out for that and to that. You don't need to micromanage and figure out all the details yourself, or neither do I. So I just said you can still be in your body, but fully, truly awake. I can tell you from experience, it is truly, oh my gosh, I had a day that I couldn't even believe. It was like for the first time in all of these years that I was fully awake. And there was so much joy. There was so much love and creativity and complete absence of fear. It was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I was in jail. I'm out of jail. It was the most astounding. I haven't been able to hold that exact pitch level of it every day, Oh, but I experienced it for the full day, and it was amazing. Out of jail, and you didn't even know you were in jail. Now I heard these words so clearly about a week ago, and when I channel, I know at the same time I hear the words, so it's not just it's not like reading a newspaper. I hear it and understand it directly simultaneously. But the words are, now is the time to step out of who and what you thought you were and into who you truly are. There is great forgiveness here. Again, not blaming others. Things start going so, let me say this, things start going so smoothly and perfectly. Because again, you're no longer fighting yourself. You're no longer fighting demons that you're carrying, because you're not carrying them anymore. You're not tied to old stories of who you are and what was true and how things had to be. That's all old, gone. Water, it flowed down the river, it's gone. You are you in the present, and you're creating your life and your world in the moment as you go. And it is incredibly freeing, and things just start working out perfectly, to where you start even trusting that it's going to work out perfectly, because it starts working out perfectly all the time. So yeah, that's the way we're built to be able to live, you guys, right? So this is all that fifth dimension, so to speak. Things you might experience, you may experience rushes of energy, and as I said earlier, increased clairvoyance, which has nothing to do with predicting the future, because there's choice. Oh, you can see probable strong tendencies that something's really there in Abraham's word now, Abraham Hicks, that it's in the vortex, it's a strong possibility, as Seth would say, incipient possibility. But there's nothing predestined. Clairvoyance gives you so much more ability to see strong possibilities and probabilities. It gives you the ability to make choice about what you would like to participate in. And it gives you the ability to hear what someone's really trying to get across when they're speaking to you, or to see where someone's really coming from. Unconditional love, divine neutrality. You're out of judgment, and this person's bad and this person's good and this is bad. As the guides say, you can't cast someone into darkness without being in the darkness yourself. You're already there just by the fact that you're putting them in it. Everything is of God, everything is of light, and you become in that divine neutrality. You realize everything in its way is perfection. There's no good or bad. It all just are expressions held within the divine universal consciousness. You might feel very energized. You might alternately feel very tired. I have one client, she was feeling sort of really stuffy in head, like head cold stuff. It was a holding on, a little bit of fear of letting go of the old story, you know. Who am I going to be? Oh, you'll still be you, but you're just here now, truly present, out of jail. People have reported, and I had this, a really tinnitus, ringing in the ears, new information just coming in. You might have some dizziness, download of energy. I didn't have any that. You could, I hear, because I didn't have this, you could have aches and pains, you know, in your joints or muscles. What I did have is old patterns, maybe, that hadn't really bothered me for 30 years. Old little patterns coming up that showed themselves as physical symptoms that used to show up in my body. It's like, whoa, that hasn't, that's, you know, haven't seen that for 30 years. Well, right, but anything that doesn't belong there anymore is going to be purified out. So up it comes for my attention and for your attention, and release. You may have insomnia. I never have had insomnia, really. Oh yeah, insomnia, crazy, ridiculous insomnia. And that waking up at 3 in the morning and then just laying there for hours wide awake, because you're running such a higher level of energy. There's one astrologer online that Pam Gregory, she said she's been getting like 2 hours of sleep a night, because she's just downloading such high energy. You can no longer do things. The way you used to do things doesn't work for you anymore. And perhaps being around people that are negative, fearful, complainy, lower vibe, you may not be able to tolerate being around those people anymore. Certain relationships may end. Certain other new relationships may come up. Certain relationships may come back around and get reignited. So there can be change in that. I even had my teeth and gums were buzzing there for a few days, kind of crazy stuff. You might find yourself, stay away from shoulds, and it's well intended, but even spiritual people online and in their classes saying, well, you might start feeling like you want to eat light foods and all organic and no meat. Watch out. That's their agenda for what is spiritual and good. You don't need their agenda. You need to listen to you and your body and your energy. You may indeed find yourself eating less and or eating lighter. You may also find yourself being hungrier, and you may also find yourself needing more protein. And actually, I've had both. I craved cabbage. I hate cabbage. I had to eat cabbage for a few days and just thought I had died and gone to heaven because I was eating cabbage. What? But I'm just saying, don't be surprised. And don't take it as something's wrong with you. It's your body attuning the cells and the DNA and the nervous system, the neurological system. And as Pam Gregory said, you're actually shifting from a carbon-based system into a crystalline system. So there's going to be some noticeable little physical changes and changes in your world. You may have some emotions come and go, So what I want to say to you is some people will use the word ground. I don't like that word because it can connote sticking yourself back to the 3D. That's not what it is. Be present. Do your attunements. Be present. Who and what I truly am. My true identity. Be present. I am here literally live, real time, showing up for this huge change of energetic frequency and evolution for myself and my planet and my species and my galaxy and my universe and multiverse. I'm committed to this. Just hang on and know you'll be okay. You'll assimilate. We will all assimilate these energies. It's our commitment and intention to do so. And there you go. I just felt it, a shift in you, and then people who aren't even listening in yet, Earth time. And the other thing is, I can almost describe it as it's that willingness to step onto, to inhabit the new Earth. You're not going to have all the politicians and the wars to bitch about anymore, because they're not there anymore, and you don't need them anymore. All that's left behind. It's inhabiting a world where things are going okay and you feel good and you want everybody to feel good, and we all have the best interest of each other in mind, also with abundance and appreciation. It's get the feelings of love and abundance and harmony and appreciation and cooperation and unity, that everything and everybody is you, and you are everything and everybody. And the Arcturians actually say that verbatim. So be present, inhabit your body and let it become light-filled. Let yourself become a co-creator of this cooperative, appreciative, kind, abundant, safe, peaceful, loving world. And it is, if you sit there and feel it, it feels like you're literally saying, yeah, okay, I'll step onto this new pink Earth starship. Pink is a color of love. Yeah, I'm ready to step onto the starship and actually live in a new paradigm and be part of and co-create a new paradigm. I just wanted to bring up astrologically real quick. I'm not an astrologer, just a couple of astrological points that are synchronistic expressions. Astrology doesn't dictate, it doesn't predict events. There's always choice. It does offer synchronistic expression. So right now, several things are going on. Solar flares, which come and go every 11 years. We just started an 11-year bout of solar flares, solstice here of 2022. huge lightening of the magnetic field of the sun and the earth. The higher the vibration, the lighter the magnetic fields, the higher our consciousness vibration lifts, the higher our frequency. So there is an like an actual physical thing happening that's supporting this upgrade. We've already been having blackouts all over the world, radios going silent and things like that. It will affect, electronics and systems and things, but it affects us very much. It's also zaps of new energy, new downloads of energy and information with these solar flares. So we're literally receiving that. And we don't have to do anything but receive it. Pluto is a planet of power, and it has been in the sign Capricorn, which is since 2008, which is control, hierarchy, domination, centralized control, top-down power. It moved as of March 24th, it moved into Aquarius, which it'll be there till June. Then it'll go back to Capricorn. And then in 2024, it will go into Aquarius and be there for 20 years. Pluto not only empowers the sign it's in, but it shows the flaws and the corruption in it. So Pluto in Capricorn, there was lots of control, top-down hierarchy, centralized control since 2008. In March 24th, just now, it moved into Aquarius. Things start breaking up. It becomes more idealistic. Power starts coming back to the people. We've been seeing that, and we're going to continue to see it, and start in 2024 for 20 years. The power with the people. Pam Gregory said repeatedly, Pluto in Aquarius is paradigm shattering. It changes your world. The French Revolution happened when Pluto went into Aquarius. X-rays were invented with Pluto in Aquarius. Copernicus in 1543, when he developed that heliocentric, that we revolve around the sun doesn't revolve around Earth, that came up during Pluto in Aquarius. So that's a huge astrological synchronicity of expression of this energy. Aquarius is idealistic, and it's mental, and it's technical, and control by technology is going to be a big thing. We're going to have to examine, who do we want to be as humans? What does it mean to be human? Do we want things to just completely go to artificial intelligence? Do you know, not 3 days after I listened to Pam Gregory on this, what appeared across my AOL newsfeed, that an open letter was written by Elon Musk, Steve Wozniak of Apple, the IBM chief scientist Grady Booth, and an AI ethicist, Tristan Harris, wrote an open letter saying we need to have a 6-month hold on any development of artificial intelligence, because this is getting out of hand, and people are programming artificial intelligence to take over things. People who have not been elected to program things to take over things within our lives. So we are already seeing these changes on our planet, in our planet. Uranus is in opposition to Saturn, and they are in Taurus. Well, guess what that means? Uranus in Taurus is breaking structures, and Uranus is the bursting through of structures, and Taurus is very earthy, actually. Earthquakes, volcanoes, that's been happening since 2008, and it will continue to happen to 2026. We've had lots of earthquakes and volcanoes. Mars went from Gemini to Cancer on March 26th. That's why this whole big March shift thing. That goes from being, everything's true, haven't decided, into moving forward, clarification, decision, move forward. Saturn, which is control, structure with those rings, in March 8th, it went for 3 years into Pisces, giving structure and grounding the mystical. Well, what's that going to mean? More books, more information in hard format that we can access. It means science, the hard, hard validating what is mystical and non-physical. More people going into this kind of work that I do and some of you do. So I've gone over sort of the galactic synchronicities and some of the things that you'll see on the planet during this. At this point, what I would like to do is go back and do the attunements, and this time I'm going to do a slightly longer version, just to let you know, and then take some questions and answers. So if you all are ready, let me get just a sip of water. So you may repeat after me if you wish. I am word through my body. Word, I am word. I am word through my vibration. Word, I am word. I am word through my knowing of myself as word. Word, I am word. I know who I am in truth. I know what I am in truth. I know how I serve in truth. I am free. I am free. I am free. I am in the upper room. I am in the upper room. I have come. I have come. I have come. Behold, I make all things new. It will be so. God is. God is. God is. I am known. I am known. I am known. And now I want to continue. I want to continue with, we're going to see each other, see ourselves, those of us here live, but also everybody joining us later, no matter where and how you're watching this. We're going to include each other. So we have that unity to help others not only be there, but that we feel we are a group of consciousnesses cooperating together, which we are. I know who you are in truth. I know what you are in truth. I know how you serve in truth. You are free. You are free. You are free. You are in the upper room. I see you in the upper room. You have come. You have come. You have come. Behold, I make all things new. It will be so. God is. God is. God is. So at this point, everybody, I would like to open this up for a question and answer before, and then I will say a few minutes at the end about what I'll be sending you in email and some links that I want to make available to you both attending here, and then if later you're watching this on YouTube or something, what links I'll include and why. So, who has a question? You can use your chat or your reactions actually to raise a hand. Unmuted.
Kathy, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yeah, barely. I can barely hear you. So speak up because I want others to hear you too.
Oh, okay. I didn't see anybody else's hand. This is Mary.
Okay.
my question is, do you feel like the attunements need to be said out loud? When we first started doing the attunements, I was saying them to myself and got what I felt like was a good reaction.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't. I don't think you have to say them out loud. I'm going to say almost never do.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anything? Another question or somebody else about all the Galactics, the stuff, the downloads, anything. I either explained it really well or overwhelmed you with information, so you don't even know what to ask. Okay, so while you're sort of thinking about it, because I do want to give you time to think about it, I will be obviously everybody that registered to attend this gets this full recording, and in that email will be a PDF file of the actual attunement version so that you can use it over and over again for yourself at home. There will also be 2 links to Paul Selig material. One is to a video in which he and his guides explain the attunements in their own words, which wouldn't be bad for you to hear. And the other one is actually a link to one of his free or pay what you can 2-hour webinars called The Coming Times. I was very impressed with it, very impressed. And I think it's a wonderful one to listen to explain why we're doing this and where we're all headed. By the way, I will say, I have not been traditionally, obviously, a student of Paul Selig's guides. I did purchase the book called Resurrection. I'm reading that now. Call on Adrienne.
Hi, Cathy.
Hi there.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too and be here. I really loved what you said that, we are our own best guide, and there's lots of people with lots of like predictions about how the planets are and yada yada. So I guess my question is like, when to lean on those things? When is that just like mind candy? And is it like that? Yeah.
Well put. I very deliberately kept myself to Seth all those decades, and it is decades. I'm a lot older than most of you guys. Started when I was 15 with my studies. I know the ground foundational information. I know when something doesn't fit. They're going off on their own hallucinatory tangents and whatever. It does worry me a little bit that all this stuff is there because it can be very overwhelming. And so what I was ready to hear what was being said about this because I had the discernment to deal with it. I'm going to say without being overwhelmed. And I am still going to tell you that I had days when I was walking around, with things running around the head and then letting it sift through and going, okay, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, that got it. That's there. We're back on our foundational ground again, and this is where that fits. I'm going to say it can almost get like an addiction where you just want to hear everything because that keeps you from having to go in and do the work yourself and show up. Be present with yourself. Be real choosy about what you do listen to. And if anybody is getting off on anything that feels like, this is what's going to happen. This is watch it. Take a big fat grain of salt right there, because nothing is predestined. We always have choice. We have infinite radio tuners that we can tune to. Second of all, anytime anybody, and I don't care if they say it's Archangel Michael, I don't care. When they start getting into, we'll protect you against the dark energies, and there's the dark, and we're here where we're fighting the dark. No, we're not fighting anything. If you're fighting something, you are doing the tango with it. You are keeping it in your reality. The whole point is to step away from that and go into and feel and be in what you do want to experience without trying to dictate everybody doing what you think they ought to do. That's not it. It's that cooperation. It's that feeling that everybody is one. It should feel uplifting. Whatever you listen to should feel uplifting, not predictive of specific events. Anything that closes off doors and has shoulds and feels like it's cutting something off or is in any way adversarial is not coming from source. I hope that makes sense to you. Avoid the tendency to pick out too much. And Quail, I see, and I'll be with you in just a moment. That brings me to something. As I had started to say, the links that are going to be there. First of all, a little bit of warning: when you listen to Paul Selig, it takes a little getting used to. First of all, they are a higher vibe. The first time I attended one of his webinars, I've only attended 3. I actually kind of got woozy and queasy and for a day because the vibe went up. And my vibe was already up, but it went up. So and they're hard to listen to because he whispers first what he hears and then he says it out loud. So there's this constant so it's a little weird, but once you get used to it, it's okay. And he'll tell you, he says, I know it's weird. The other links I'm going to include, now this is new. I'm going to include 4 or 5 direct links to, there's a channeler, and he does the kind of work I do, but he channels Galactics and whatnot. Daniel Scranton, but Arcturian links. The Arcturians, and this is very new to me too, and I have vetted these, and every single thing they say is so in line with what Seth taught me. It is so in line with what I have learned going into the higher vibe and love. Every single thing they say is, yeah, this is true. This is right in there. It is uplifting. It is supportive. It is loving. And so I have chosen 4 or 5 links, and they're very brief. They're only 2 to 5 minutes long. These channelings that are read. It's just got a sort of a graphic, and you hear them speaking to you. I will include those, and I highly encourage you to listen to them because they give you them saying it. They'll say it in slightly different words and in different ways, but they'll fill in and support what we've done here today and what you're doing in other ways. And the other thing I wanted to say is I will mention this as a resource for you. I have specifically listened to quite a few of them, and I just think that they are stellar, top quality, love-based. Anything that's adversarial or limiting feeling and should and gonna happen this way feeling isn't love-based. And you only want, and that's another thing, set your intention that you will only be attracted to that which is of the highest vibration, love-based. You will only be attracted to and sort of have brought up to you on your screens what is beneficial to you. Your intention means everything. There is a channel, it's Dorothy Shelton, and she posts readings of the Yeshua personality as channeled by Pamela Kribbe. On my website, on the left-hand sidebar at the bottom, it says recommended reading, viewing, and link. Go to that page, and you can scroll down. I have lots of books and stuff that I recommend, but at the bottom there are videos that I recommend, and I will be including, I think I still have to post them. I'll probably do that tomorrow. The Dorothy Shelton, what is a light worker, signs that this is your last lifetime, the Yeshua channelings, how religion has kept us in the darkness, and Quail, this might be segueing to you, and then signs that you are ready to ascend. They are very good. I mean, again, just stellar. So I will include those links on my own site that you can visit, but I will include those specific Arcturian links in the email I send you all. And again, if you're watching this later on YouTube, I will include those links in the description below. Now, let me see. Quail, you should be able to unmute your mic.
Thank you, Cathy. My name's
Awesome.
actually pronounced Quayle, but no worries.
I am so sorry. Yes.
No worries. It's an old Irish name. I should have just entered Q,
I
but
love it. I
thank
love
you.
it. Okay.
I was curious, am I correct in reckoning that we would be fine to change God is to something unassociated with Christianity and a gender, such as divinity is,
Yes.
and remove that whole religious trauma?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. And I think that might be why as I said, I kind of had a little bit of a with that word. So first of all, the intention is encoded into the words. And it's not about speaking as you intone those vowels and consonants and words, you are attuning. However, if you translated it to Russian and said it in Russian, it would still work. It's not about those exact, vowels and letters. As I believe it's in, I don't know if it's Hebrew or something where the actual vowels and letters mean everything. They've written them as a specific attunement, but if it were in another language, the intention is still there. I will say, use a word. You may need to use more than one word. Like I had to go to aware universal consciousness, expressing and experiencing its potentials as the translation until I could get my head around that word. You can use, some people use the word source. Actually, the guides use the word source also. You can use divine universal consciousness, because it is conscious. It's not just, it's conscious, it's intelligent, it creates. You can use, Seth uses the term all that is all the time instead of the word God, although every here or there he might say the word God. So the way I did it to make sure I was not putting too much of my own spin and maybe missing something, if that makes sense, I would sort of overlay it. I would say my translation first, but then kind of overlay the word there, so that I was getting both at the same time, kind of like acetate overlays. Do what feels right. And if you're going to use a different word or set of words, make sure they express that feeling to you of everything, with no other twisted religious content, if you will. Yeah. Does that make sense? Does that answer that? Okay. Anybody else have a question? If you don't, I'll go ahead. We're going to be right on time, but I don't want to miss any hands up. So, okay. Adrian, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, I think I just never lowered.
Oh, okay.
I do actually have one quick thing.
Okay.
Only because I think it would be good feedback for you too. The word cooperative, I feel, is a little bit triggering, because I think that word has been used for like manipulating people, or like making people in a vulnerable place. But I guess the intention, like in terms of like, I like this idea that we're all like spinning in these higher vibrations, and we're all going to be more like working as a collective. But I guess, is there like something around like the fact that if people are like cooperative, or like really open to just kind of like assimilating with a group, that like that's where like we remove free thinking, and that's where like
I get you. Yeah. I get you. No, that's that fear of losing your identity. It's sort of an ego fear. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. You don't have to go into a long story, but
let me give you an explanation. It's an ego level fear. I'll use this example because it kind of came to me. think of an octopus, which has a brain, and it also, though, has neurons in all of its tentacles. Its tentacles are smart. Within that octopus, the tentacles have decision-making ability to do what is theirs individually to do. But they're also aware of themselves as part of the octopus. They're not going to fight the other tentacle that it's in competition for a piece of food, right? It's to both their benefit and to the benefit of the whole for them to work together on to pick up that piece of food. I hear what you're saying, but I'm going to stand by the word. It's not a matter of losing identity or free thinking or going along with other people. It's when everybody is in such a higher vibe that instead of thinking how to get one over on the next guy and make sure you have more than the next guy so that you win and lose, that's 3D thinking. What if we want everybody to have abundance and everybody to win? So instead of harboring all of this resource for our country and trying to gouge other countries to get it, so we get power, whatever country that is, get power over the whole world. What if we work together? So this country sells and supplies what they have, this country sells and supplies what they have, and we try to make it fair so that everybody gets resources and to get what they need. That's what I mean by cooperation. And I'm not trying to make predictions about what fixes specifics on the world. I'm not doing that, and I can't do that. I'm just saying competition is it's cooperation versus competition. Think of it this way: your siblings in a family, your tribe. Think of the Native Americans. The people within that tribe, they're each thinking, and they're thinking about their individual needs, and they're having their own thoughts. They're not just going along with what everybody else thinks, but they're also not in competition with their own tribe members. They're not trying to get one over on their own tribe members. Everybody's trying to, same thing in a family, trying to take care of the other guy too, so that we're all doing well. How can we be doing well if some of us are being, left out in the cold? So that's what I mean when I say the word cooperation. Meditate on that, ask for a different understanding of what that might mean versus the ego fear of giving up my identity, mine. It's like, yeah, but it's all mine. And so I want everybody to have wonderful abundance, everything that is possible for them to have also. Not instead of, also. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're at time, you guys. I thank you. I thank you very much for joining me today, and I'll send you the recording and with those links and the email tomorrow. Have a wonderful, magical day.